The House could take up the 2 articles of impeachment for a full vote by the Christmas break. If approved, the impeachment process would then head to the Republican-controlled Senate for a trial. Indiana Republican Senator Mike Braun joins me now from Capitol Hill. Senator Braun, thanks so much for being with us.
Hey, good to be on.
So what is your reaction to the articles of impeachment Democrats put out today?
Well, I think it's been a long time coming. You know, when I get all the questions, well, have you made up your mind? What do you think about all of it? I think that the whole process got started a couple years ago. And, you know, you got to look at the Mueller report as kind of the first effort to impeach the president. When that fell flat, you know, we're here talking about Ukraine and get asked all the time, well, is it inappropriate? Is there something there? I think a lot of it has to do with its origination for many of us, when it looks like there was such a strong effort to find something. Putting that aside, I think the president would have been better off not broaching these subjects, whether it was helping me or helping us. Nothing happened, number one. Zelensky said there was no coercion, no quid pro quo. It just gets you entangled to where I know the agenda's been working. And when I ran, it was to come in and weigh in on things like the cost of health care. And as a freshman, I've had a lot of impact, but all that effort's sitting on the shelf. And of course, USMCA, which, thank goodness, that's finally coming across the finish line. Sadly, the reason it's happening now is political as well. I knew the place was going to be like this. It's kind of interesting when you get catapulted into it your first year here.
So to be clear, it sounds as though you do not think the president's behavior toward Ukraine is impeachable.
No, and I can almost say with certainty that would be the opinion of most of my cohorts in the Senate. And if there is no other information that comes forward other than what we learned behind closed doors, with the process being very stilted when it did become public, limiting, you know, who the Republicans could invite in to talk to. You know, again, the process has not been, you know, really fair up to this point. It sounds like it is going to come to the Senate, and their managers will debate the president's attorney, and there will be certain rules established, but it would be, again, the 4th time that we're talking about all the information we already know about. And unless there's something different, I don't think it's going to change any Republican minds in the Senate. I think we might get a couple Democrats to actually vote against, you know, conviction if it gets here.
How would you characterize the president's actions, though, towards Ukraine? And are you concerned there could be a similar situation that would happen ahead of the 2020 election?
I'm not concerned about that happening into the 2020 election. I'm also concerned about maybe all the other stuff that's gone on both sides of the aisle. I think that this is a wake-up call for any politician to probably not do things the way maybe it's been done recently, leading up to now, in this polarized context. So often you hear, just like from Jonathan Turley, who came in and spoke to us today at the Senate luncheon, and like his point of view that it's gotten into a context now that if you push the envelope on anything, there's going to be a partisan kind of reaction to it, and I think that's what we're seeing. I think what got me mostly about impeachment is when I heard the other side talking about it a couple months before the president was even inaugurated. That's a caustic system we have here, and I would say that means for anybody, you better be careful, because it'd be easy, you know, to be caught in these incidences like this, where it burns up so much time and may put your existence in peril. So I'd say just be a little more careful.
Let's turn to the USMCA. Some of your Republican Senate colleagues are not completely sold on the agreement. Republican Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania said the agreement, quote, clearly moved way to the left and that it's basically NAFTA. Do you think Republicans played a big enough part in the negotiating process?
You know, I think that a couple of my colleagues are not liking the part that was maybe done with Mexico's ability to see what we're doing here. I thought that was a little curious when they brought that up. But one issue I know that's been a burr under the saddle of some here would be the biologic rule. And to me, that issue goes into the healthcare system that I've spent so much time trying to fix in my own business, trying to fix it here as the Senate has weighed in with 80 senators. But the healthcare system is messed up, and most of that reaction on the conservative side of our party is due to the fact that they think the healthcare system is a free market. I would know better probably than anyone here, because I wrestled with them as a CEO and business owner. There's nothing free, transparent, or competitive about it. So I think that's the main bugaboo, and I would differ there. I think the USMCA is a big win for manufacturers, for farmers. Many blue state congressmen and women wanted it across the finish line. Sadly, it looks like the timing is to maybe assuage some of the political issues that impeachment have run into in terms of popular support, especially in the swing states.
Right, Senator Mike Braun.
I will vote for it.
You will vote for it. Senator Braun, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me on.